If Billy Corgan isn't too cool to play Monster Mash, then neither are you.
For sure.
What is going on, everybody? Adam and Dan here with Cover Band Confidential. So we wanted to do a special video for you guys this week, given that it is October and all of us have very important parties coming up. We wanted to tell you about our top 10 Halloween songs that you should be adding to your set list.
Are we going to go from like least strongly recommended to highest?
No, here's the problem. I can't because they're not. Mine are not ranked.
You're not ranked. I did take a second to rank mine. Because of that, we'll just go in any order. You need to just include all of these.
So let's talk criteria real quick. The qualifying requirements for the songs that I inevitably picked were what songs do people want to hear at a Halloween party that a band is playing at. So there's a whole bunch of honorable mentions that we'll get to at the end. Once you kind of hear that, you'll be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So my first choice, and most of these choices, they're all going to be 80s. They're all 80s. Come on. Who are we kidding? My first pick is Ghostbusters. Ray Parker Jr.
Yeah.
How could you not do it?
Yeah, I think so too. An equally no-brainer, my first pick, Dead Man's Party. Oingo Boingo.
See, that was my number one pick.
Yeah.
If I was able to, and you got to it first.
I beat you to it. It's a great song.
It's got a very interesting arrangement.
Oh, and I mean the roadmap of it is all over the place. Like, there's nothing regular about the structure of it at all. So
no, you got to know that song inside and out.
It's a real challenge.
And we talked about it a couple of weeks ago about the karaoke version that just dropped. But I did want to mention there was a compilation years and years ago called Punk Goes 80s, and there was a band called A Thorn for Every Heart that did an arrangement of Dead Man's Party with no horn section. It's just guitars. It's very true to the original. So if you are interested in that, we will provide a link to the YouTube of that song, so you can use that as reference if you're not, playing to tracks and playing to clicks and all that stuff. So A Thorn for Every Heart doing Dead Man's Party.
Cool.
Next one, I Want Candy by Bow Wow Wow. And if you're playing that at a Halloween party, you're going to fill that dance floor up with ladies who want to yell, "I want candy."
That's right. Would you toss candy in the audience?
You'd have to. It feels like you'd have to clear that with in the contract. Clear that with the
the facility. The venue. The facility probably doesn't want Snickers smashed onto the dance floor. For
sure. And we all know from like fall parades that you can't really like chuck like lollipops overhand.
Yeah.
You'll end up like cracking skulls and that kind of thing.
It's a concussion hazard.
You want to throw those underhanded either way.
Yeah.
What you got?
My next one, A Time Warp from Rocky Horror.
Absolutely.
Now, here's the thing about that. Rocky Horror is not seasonal. It's not specifically a Halloween-y thing, but it is a dress-up thing, and it's spooky, and it's, you pull out The Time Warp, and it's a good fit for Halloween. It's a good time to do that one.
That was the performing arts nerd song at like every party.
Absolutely, and everybody would suddenly claim a part from the show, and people who actually knew the show would holler out the audience lines. And
it's super nerdy, but it's a lot of fun. My next pick is Somebody's Watching Me by Rockwell featuring Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
It was probably one of the first kind of Halloween songs that we onboarded. It's a fun song to perform because the verses are kind of rappy, but not really.
Yep.
And he's got this weird affectation, the way that he delivers the words. I just chew those verses real hard. I'm just an average man with an average life.
It's good.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's good.
Everybody knows the chorus. It's an anthem.
Yeah.
And people love it.
Yeah.
Run along.
Listen, you just are not going to go wrong with Werewolves of London.
As long as people don't think you're doing that Kid Rock song.
Kid Rock tune. And that's all right. After a moment, they'll figure that out. The only challenge here is you got to have somebody who can do the woo, and I can't do it in that register. I have to drop it, which is not as good. But you could do it.
Yeah, it's not really our scene with that particular song.
No.
But I do love, I saw a werewolf drinking a Mai Tai at Trader Vic's.
His
hair was perfect.
Yeah.
It's a great line.
That's a fantastic
That might be one of the greatest lines ever.
Yeah.
The next one that I picked was a bit of a toss-up between this one and another one, and I'll go ahead and mention the other one because I feel like they kind of fill the same gap in the set, which is Running with the Devil by Van Halen. And I was going back and forth between that and The Devil Went Down to Georgia. They're both devil songs. Honorable mention, Shout at the Devil, if you're in a Motley Crue. First of all, for those of you who are listening to this in real time, yesterday marked 1 year that we lost Eddie Van Halen, so it was definitely top of mind. And for those of you who are keeping up with that, David Lee Roth has announced that the last 5 shows of the year are his last 5 shows ever. He is going into retirement. There's a bit of a hinting that there's some sort of health issue going on with him. So I live my life like there's no tomorrow. Can't go wrong.
There you go. The thing about Devil Went Down to Georgia, of course, is you need a fiddle player.
Yep.
Taylor and I have done it. We've played around with it. We've never performed it because we just never, because of me. She has it. She completely nails it. I'm the problem.
You got to cover a lot of ground. It's got that like kind of rock funk kind of groove there in the middle, and you got to be able to switch gears pretty fast in that song.
And there's a lot of sort of chordal walking stuff. Dum 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 dum.
Yep.
So that sort of business that is not just a lot of movement, but some interesting timing, and I'd have it with a little more rehearsal. We just haven't committed to it.
What you got next?
I put a spell on you.
Which one?
I do the Screaming Jay Hawkins one.
Well, but I would also throw out, if you wanted something that had a bit more oomph, and you had the personnel to pull it off, you could do the Bette Midler version that they did in Hocus Pocus.
Yeah,
which was more of a Vegas-y kind of approach.
Yeah. I like the rawness of the Screamin' Jay version. I like,
absolutely.
He was blind drunk performing that in the studio. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was not going to be that style at all. And then he came into the studio roaring drunk, and they did like one take and had that, and he passed out and woke up in the morning and heard it and didn't remember having recorded it. And was like, yeah, that's what we're releasing. That one right there.
The performance is so unhinged.
Yeah, it's just
and
bonkers.
If you've never seen him do it live, you absolutely should look that up.
Yeah.
He's got the coffin on the stage with a mirror in it. And he does the first verse from inside the coffin, and then he gets out of the coffin, and it's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. So the bar is set pretty high to do that one, but still you should.
My last one is Weird Science by Oingo Boingo.
Also good.
If you're listening to it, the samples that are in it are from Frankenstein. So it's got the monster tie-in and the movie again, kind of similar ideas. And it's got trolls, it's got Mad Max biker gangs, and all the other things that movie has. Yeah. So another super weird song, structure-wise. There isn't really a verse part. There really isn't a chorus part. We tried to do it one year, and we have the cues in the clicks, and I'm like, what is this part? Is this the turnaround? Is this the verse? Stuff repeats. There's refrains, but like they don't follow any sort of linear pattern that I was able to discern.
For the Disney trivia, one of the tunes that I onboarded was This Is Halloween, Nightmare Before Christmas. I almost said Nightmare on Elm Street. It's a similar Elfman-y goofiness. The chords are non-diatonic in ways that are spooky, and it also doesn't follow any regular A-B pattern. And
it doesn't really follow any sort of standard structure or anything like that. It's funny you mentioned Nightmare on Elm Street, because I would say as much fun as those movies are, the soundtracks are very of their time. I definitely had multiple Nightmare on Elm Street soundtracks. I know I had the one with DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince doing Nightmare on My Street. There was a Fat Boys tune from one of them as well.
Wow.
For me, the most iconic is Dream Warriors by Dokken. If you've never seen the video for Dream Warriors, it's incredible. The cast of the movie's in it, so it's I think Patricia Arquette is in the music video. Freddie's there, but like the band is also there. It's so weird, but you should definitely look it up.
Yeah, see the show notes for that one. I'll make sure to put that in. I got one more. Maybe it's the Mustang Sally of Halloween songs.
Uh-oh.
And that is Monster Mash.
Yes.
Got to do it.
Boris Pickett, the Crypt Keepers.
That's right. You got to do it. And it's fun, and the girls will dance to it. You don't do it any other time than Halloween, thank God, but do it at Halloween.
I definitely saw a version of the Smashing Pumpkins covering the Monster Mash. If Billy Corgan isn't too cool to play Monster Mash, then neither are you.
For sure. And you got to ham up the voice. I was working in the lab late one night.
There's a documentary about that song. He made it really affordable to put it into TVs and movies and things like that. It actually made it iconic in a way that like it probably wouldn't be otherwise.
That's amazing. Once it's iconic, it doesn't matter how cheap it is. All right, we had some honorable mentions.
Yes. So did you have any on your list that we didn't talk about?
One, and it's because it is a deep cut that I love and is Halloween-y in a subtle way. The song's called After Dark by Tito and Tarantula. And it is the song that Salma Hayek danced with a snake to from Dusk Till Dawn.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
So it's like slinky and sexy and spooky and kind of Latin sounding. And it's a great tune. It's a great tune.
But mostly it makes you think of Salma Hayek?
Mostly it makes you think of Salma Hayek in a bikini, which is, there's nothing wrong with that.
This is a hot take. And I know that people might be screaming at me for not putting it in the top 5 that I chose, but I've got reasons. So that's Thriller by Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
We've done it before, and it normally did fairly well. As a performer, I don't like singing it because it's real hard to sing.
Yeah.
And then also, we've had some weirdness with being an 80s band and people specifically requesting we not play Michael Jackson. I feel like there's been some back and forth in regards to that documentary that Wade Robson did.
Yeah.
And so we have pulled it from sets unless it is specifically requested.
It's almost a line dance, right? The dance from the video is so iconic. Like, you're going to get people doing the Thriller dance, and that's okay. That's okay, but it's not just a dance. You got to be aware it's not just a song that makes them dance. It's a song that makes them dance in a particular way, and that may or may not be conducive.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it happens like it happens in 13 Going on 30, where everybody is a professional dancer in the crowd and they all know it and they get together and it happens. Or it may be that people are too drunk and they're like, I don't know this routine, and then they go and sit down.
Right.
So you have to be prepared for either one of those things to break out.
Yep.
Next honorable mention, Pet Sematary by Ramones. The Ramones.
All right.
I don't want to be buried in the Pet Cemetery. Not a song that you can really dance to,
Right.
but a good one. These songs are going on like my Halloween party playlist, like when we have people over, but we're just not going to play them, this month.
Right.
People Are Strange by The Doors. Again, not really one that people can dance to.
No.
Similar idea, Witchy Woman by The Eagles.
I see that one. That could be a Halloween tune, but it's not a dancer.
I would also put Spooky by Atlanta Rhythm Section. That would be in that kind of same vein.
Yeah.
Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult. What do you have any thoughts about that?
I like that song a lot. I think that song turns into a sing-along a lot or a scream-along a lot. So there's value there, but I wouldn't put it in the top 10.
I think you lose people once it kind of goes into that little like bridge part, where the whole personality
you can't play
of the song changes.
You gotta do something else there. You gotta transition to something else. Don't do that guitar.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
It doesn't make sense. And I could say you could probably pull that off as like a first set opener that goes into something else.
Yeah.
You might be able to pull that off. And then the last one is just because I don't think many people who listen to this podcast would want to pull it out. But I think it would be incredible if somebody did, and that's Monster, which is the Kanye West song with Jay-Z, Rick Ross, Nicki Minaj on it. If your band could do that one, it would absolutely slay.
Yeah.
It would like completely crush. If you could find somebody who could pull off that Nicki Minaj verse, you got something special for sure. But yeah, that would be an amazing pick. But none of my bands have the ability to do so.
We're not prepared for that. All right, folks, that's our top 10 Halloween songs that you got to add to your set list this season. Go out and get them. Thanks again for tuning in, and if you're enjoying our content, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We post new videos here every single Friday.
Also, it's officially fall, and we now have hoodies in our merch store. Go check out the new styles and grab one before it gets too cold. Have an awesome week. We will see you next time.